I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Jaeger-LeCoultre. Today, I'll be your guide to the proper usage, care, and maintenance of your master ultra-thin Perpetual. Though this is an automatic winding watch, nevertheless, should it run down, it can be manually wound by taking the crown in the first position flush to the case and turning it 20 to 30 turns in a clockwise direction. This should be sufficient to start the movement, and you'll note the advance of the seconds hand across the dial. At this point, you can set the time, set the date, and the watch will continue to sustain itself using the case-back winding mass and the kinetic energy of the wrist. But should you wish to wind the watch to its maximum rated power reserve of 38 hours, simply continue turning the crown. The bridle-style mainspring is designed to slip and relieve any excess tension, so you cannot accidentally overwind the watch. Listen for the subtle click or tick of the slipping bridle mainspring as your signal that you have completely wound the watch's power reserve. At this point, you can set the date and you can set the time, using two subsidiary functions that permit more precise setting of the watch. The first is stop seconds. Pulling the crown to its outermost position, you halt the seconds hand and you can synchronize against a known accurate reference, such as an online atomic clock. Now, it's important to note that the easiest way to do this is to actually stop the seconds hand at the index at 12 and then advance the hands of the watch to the next nearest minute against the reference timer. When the reference timer's seconds and minutes hands precisely match what you've set on your watch, push the crown back in, restart the seconds hand. Now you've synchronized the watch. Remember, start it at the threshold of an exact match between your reference time and the time you've set on the watch. The watch's calendar is set using the pusher adjuster at 8 o'clock. When adjusting the date, the day advances. After adjusting the date a sufficient number of times, the month advances. Likewise, the moon phase, the year, and the decade indication all advance in sync, meaning this is both a coordinated perpetual calendar for ease of setting, everything advances correctly as per the calendar, but also that it is a sequential perpetual calendar. Given the year indication, you can't simply turn the calendar around 365 days if you set the watch too far ahead. Rather, if you accidentally set the watch too far ahead, you should keep the watch disused and stationary until such a time as the actual calendar, day, date, month, has caught up with what you've set on the dial of your watch. Again, if you set the watch too far forward, do not start turning it backwards. Do not attempt to run the watch through a full year cycle to catch back up to the correct day and date. Because of the year indication, this is not possible. You have to wait for the calendar to catch up with the watch. You have to leave the watch disused and stationary. It's also important to note that you should not set the watch using the quick set adjuster for the calendar between the hours of 8 p.m. and 4 a.m., as this is the period during which the watch is automatically jumping all of the indications of the calendar. If you attempt to actuate the pusher adjuster during this period, you will crash the movement and cause significant damage. Moreover, you should not turn the time backwards during this period. So take note, if you are traveling internationally between the hours of 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. and you're traveling west, do not start setting the watch backward, as this will also crash the mechanism. There is a small aperture above the cannon pinion bearing the hands, showing a sweep of white or dark. That is your danger zone indicator. Effectively, that is your night-day indicator, so you know whether you're looking at, for instance, the time shortly before 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. in this case. Always bear in mind the danger zone indicator when setting the complex calendar function of the watch. Now, there are a number of hazards with respect to luxury watch ownership that you should keep in mind. Water, magnetism, and shock, of which water is by far the greatest concern. First, take note, leather is a natural porous material, and though this watch is water resistant to 5 bar, leather is never water resistant and will degrade rapidly in the presence of moisture. So ensure the watch is on a water resistant strap or a bracelet prior to exposing it to moisture. Moreover, it's important to note that you can help avoid accidental drowning. Don't wind the watch or use any of the setting functions of the crown or the pusher adjuster when the watch is submerged, or even if there's only water on the case, as using these functions when the watch is wet can introduce water to the interior of the watch to catastrophic cosmetic and mechanical consequences. Moreover, water resistance, unlike mechanical specification, is not a permanent feature of your watch, and over time, as seals age and lubricants dry, the watch will be relatively less water resistant. For this reason, Jaeger-LeCoultre recommends having your watch water tested at an authorized service center minimally every 12 months. Now, shock and magnetism are also concerns, magnetism being the more insidious of the two because it's hidden and yet ubiquitous. You can find magnets in the closures of wallets and purses. You can find magnets in refrigerator doors, high-powered wiring looms that create magnetic flux, MRI equipment. Therefore, it's important to keep your watch remote from all of these. You'll know your watch may have become magnetized if it's running very fast or very slow, as erratic running is a symptom of a magnetized hairspring. The metallic hairspring within the balance of your watch, the watch's heartbeat, can be demagnetized at an authorized service center using the specialized equipment available. Shock is the final and perhaps the most permanent and immediate source of damage to a watch. Now, whereas water damage can take place over a number of days as components corrode and degrade, shock damage can stop a watch immediately. Therefore, it's advisable to discontinue use of the watch while riding snowmobiles, ATVs, or mountain bikes, during firearms marksmanship, tennis, batting, or golf, as all of these activities are concussive and can damage a fine mechanical movement. Ultimately, every mechanical watch needs a comprehensive mechanical service. During a comprehensive overhaul, your watch is cosmetically reconditioned, its watertight integrity is restored, and its caliber, in this case caliber 868, is entirely reconditioned by disassembling, cleaning, relubricating, and regulating it for the most precise possible chronometric performance. This work should be performed exclusively at an authorized service center of Jaeger-LeCoultre, where trained personnel, specialized equipment, and original factory replacement parts are available to protect the value of your watch as both an investment and as an instrument. Moreover, only these agencies are authorized to back all work and parts invested with a Jaeger-LeCoultre factory service warranty. Finally, visit our website at govbergwatches.com and call, text, or email our experts who will be happy to walk you through every phase of the ownership and care of this or any Jaeger-LeCoultre timepiece.